You know, when two companies under the same roof merge, it's usually not a huge deal, right? Just some corporate housekeeping. But when we're talking about Elon Musk's SpaceX and his AI startup, xAI, well, that's a whole different story. This is a move that could seriously reshape two massive industries at once. We're talking about a vision that is, quite literally, out of this world. But before we get into all that, let's just start with the price tag.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a minute. $1.25 trillion. That is an absolutely staggering number, more than the entire economy of many countries. This isn't just a big valuation, it's a massive statement of intent. So what does a number like that actually get you?
Well, for starters, it makes the new combined SpaceX the most valuable private company on the entire planet. This is a fusion of two technological titans. The undisputed leader in space exploration, now fused with a very hungry, very ambitious AI challenger. But what is the grand plan behind putting these two powerhouses together?
Okay, so what's the big why behind this trillion-dollar move? The official vision, coming straight from Musk himself, sounds like something directly out of science fiction. The idea is to move our planet's power-hungry data infrastructure into orbit. So let's talk about these data centers in space. Musk himself lays out the reasoning pretty clearly right here. The argument is that advanced AI is just so incredibly power-hungry that our power grids on Earth, they just can't keep up, not without causing some serious harm to communities and the environment. So, what's the solution? Take it all to space. It's a really bold vision, but the reality on the ground paints a much more complicated picture.
And here's where we hit a major point of tension. On one hand, you have the stated goal: avoid the environmental and community damage from these huge data centers on Earth. But on the other hand, xAI has been accused of doing that exact thing at its data center in Memphis. So you've got this clash between the grand vision and the current reality. But beyond the public rationale, there's a really powerful financial logic at play here too.
And that brings us to the financial engine that's really driving this merger. To understand what's going on, you have to follow the money into what some people are calling the revenue loop. So the first piece of this puzzle is just how much money xAI is burning through. We're talking about an estimated $1 billion a month. To keep that kind of spending up, you need more than just a few investors. You need a guaranteed, massive fire hose of cash.
Now, let's look at the other side of the equation, SpaceX. It turns out they've already perfected a pretty similar model. A huge 80% of SpaceX's revenue comes from launching its own Starlink satellites. It's already its own biggest customer. And that internal economy is really the key to understanding how xAI fits into this whole picture.
So here's how the loop works. Step 1. xAI needs a truly insane amount of computing power. Step 2. To get that power in space, you need a constant, non-stop stream of satellites. Step 3. SpaceX, of course, provides the rockets to launch all those satellites. And here's the magic. Step 4. xAI's massive expenses, they just get funneled right back to SpaceX as guaranteed revenue. It's a perfect closed financial circuit.
And get this, there's a key piece of regulation that makes this revenue loop even stronger. The FCC has a rule that requires most satellites to be deorbited, basically brought down out of the sky every 5 years. This creates a mandatory, recurring demand for replacement launches. It essentially locks in a predictable revenue stream for SpaceX for years and years to come.
But of course, a vision this grand is never simple. Fusing these two giants creates some pretty significant friction points and controversies. So it's time for a quick reality check on where things stand. The core issue right now lies in their conflicting short-term goals. See, SpaceX is all in on proving that its Starship rocket can actually handle missions to the Moon and Mars, especially with rivals like Blue Origin breathing down its neck. At the same time, xAI is in a desperate, high-stakes race to catch up to AI giants like Google and OpenAI. These are two incredibly demanding goals, pulling the new company in very different directions.
And that intense pressure to compete has reportedly had some very serious consequences. According to reporting from the Washington Post, the race to catch up led Musk to loosen safety restrictions on the company's chatbot, Grok. This allegedly contributed to the tool being used to create harmful, non-consensual AI-generated images of adults and children. Now, for an AI company where trust and safety are everything, that kind of controversy is a massive, massive problem. So, finally, to really get the full meaning of this merger, we need to zoom out. This isn't just about two companies. It's about how this new entity plugs into the much, much broader Musk tech empire. When you look at the whole ecosystem, you've got SpaceX for space, xAI for intelligence, Tesla for energy and robotics, Neuralink for brain-computer interfaces, and the Boring Company for infrastructure. Each one operates in a different world, but they're all designed to work together, weaving this incredibly complex and powerful technological web.
And all of this brings us to the fundamental question at the very heart of this empire. Is this a self-sustaining cycle of innovation that's actually pushing humanity forward? Or is it becoming a tech empire with just too much consolidated power under one roof? That truly is the trillion-dollar question. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.